Have you considered opening your own marketing agency or YouTube agency or doing creative work for other clients? Are you a contractor or a freelancer? Do you want to know how to get started in that? Well, today I have a great guest, someone I work with personally who's a client of mine and I'm a client of his. And we've been working together for a while and I've been seeing great results and he's been helping me manage my YouTube content. And he has a great model. I'm going to learn what it takes to start your own marketing agency, scale it, grow it, how he did it, tips and tricks. And I encourage you to stay for the call because he has a lot of golden nuggets and he's done a lot of great things with his firm. Without any further ado, I have Domenico Vitolo. Hey, Domenico, thanks for being here today.
Hey guys, hi everyone. Thanks for having me,
Yes,
Chase.
so
It's a pleasure.
thanks for being here on the What It Takes kind of interview series that I'm doing. And I've been interviewing people from different specialties that have different skills, mostly clients and people I've worked with. And I've worked with you for a while, a couple months now, like 4 months, and I think it's been going really great. You've been helping me manage my shorts. So if you guys are following my YouTube channel and you like my shorts, Domenico and his firm have been doing those for me. And he does the best he can with what I give him, the content I give him, right? So I think he's doing a good job. And Domenico, tell me a little bit about your agency, what you guys do, what you specialize in, and how it works, and then we'll get back into we'll start from the beginning, get up to where you are now, and we'll see what lessons you've learned along the way. But tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the warm introduction, first of all. What we do is we are a content agency, so we focus on creating social media assets for our clients. The goal is to increase their distribution, get more eyeballs on their offers. We are a full remote team. We are about 15-ish people right now, and we're growing. We started a couple of years ago as a company. We're doing good, and we work with more than 25 people at the moment.
You have 25 like monthly clients that you're doing a lot of media for, and you have a team of like 15 people. You said, right?
Yeah.
But you,
It's very heavy in terms of operations, but it's fulfilling.
yeah. Well, tell me. So this is where you're at today. So you only started a couple years ago, right? How did you started as a freelancer, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, not everyone knows, actually, nobody knows that before all of this, I was actually a football freestyler. So I was doing something completely different, still out of the ordinary, right? Like I was basically doing performances for big brands with football, like juggling and stuff. And this was my life until I turned 18 years old. Then life hit, and I needed to start finding a real job to, pay the expenses and stuff. I was making good money, but not enough. And that was the reality check. I hated my life. I hated the routine, working at the normal jobs, 9 to 5. I was getting crazy, so I wanted to find a way out. I discovered digital marketing, and I was super interested in that, attracting people's attention with content and, driving sales, all of that behind a laptop, basically. Back in I think 2016 was a big thing. Like it was super niched as a topic. And yeah, so I started selling Instagram services. I was basically an Instagram strategist and I helped people growing on that platform back then. I think it was 2016, maybe 2017. I started getting the first few clients.
And
Yeah.
how did you get your first client?
The first client, it's kind of funny because I'm Italian. Maybe you spotted it from my accent. And basically, I was in an Italian community back then, and it was about digital marketing. And I remember I was still working at the supermarket back then, and I was already studying stuff, and I was running my own Instagram community. I've created I was doing football freestyle back then, right? So I created a community around football freestyle, and I grew it organically to 20,000 followers. And back then, what I did was I wanted to sell products. So I discovered the print on demand. It still exists
Yeah,
today, I
of
think.
course,
A
it's
lot of
huge.
brands make a
Print
lot
on
of money
demand
with
is
that.
huge. Yeah.
So I was using this French platform to sell stuff, and basically the logo of the product was just my picture, but in a like in a like I just colored the entire picture, and it looked like a nice logo, but it was me doing freestyle. It was weird, super weird. I would never bought anything like that, but there was the community around the logo. And so I started selling hoodies for like $50, and people from all over the world started buying all organically. And I was like, shit, like this was like, it shifted my brain. I was like, wow, I can make money like this. And then I was still working at the supermarket. And one day I see one guy on this community pitching services. He was just posting something like, hey, my name is, I don't know, Marco, and I help people doing this. Leave a comment if you want to get my help. And he got like 60 comments. And I was like, whoa, this is easy. And so I just crafted the best sales pitch I could, and like I had a super nice picture where I looked like a serious businessman, back then. And I pitched people in the group as well. I was like, "Hey, I'm Dom. I grew my community to 20,000 people organically. If you need help with your Instagram, I'm the guy. Just send me a message. I'll be happy to, tell you what I can do for you." And I think I got like 70 kind of like 60 or 70 DMs, comments. I didn't have any sales process. I didn't have any idea about sales. So I just sent 70 messages. 60 of them never replied. Out of 10 of them, like 7 were not interested. I pitched 3 people. 1 said no, and the 2 other people said yes. And they paid me. And I was like, whoa, this was the second shift. I was like, oh, I can sell recurring services? Are you serious? And that's how it started.
I didn't
I
know
started selling growths on Instagram for these people.
I didn't know that you had that you were doing that you tried print on demand first. So how did you so tell me about that distinction. So you chose like I want to do services, I don't like e-commerce, because that could have easily gone the other way where you're like, oh, let me do different products, double down, find different communities. Instead you're like, no, you like seem to leave products as quickly as possible. Why do you decide that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think it was intentional. It just like I had the opportunity. The selling products was not that easy. I had 20,000 people in the community, but like only 5 people bought when I did the organic launch via stories, which was good back then. Like I made like $100 without any risk. I remember I was drinking coffee with my friends at a local Italian cafe, and I see the notification, boom, $20 a t-shirt. I was like, whoa, a guy in France. I still remember the guy. But then, yeah, I saw that services was a more a better opportunity to make money, because I was making, I don't know, $200 per person recurring, and the work wasn't that much. I had my system to bring results to these people, and it was working, and they were paying me like clockwork. And I was like, whoa, if I get 20 clients, you know, that's a nice, that's a nice salary.
We
And it was just, the inertia of keep selling services, I
And you
guess.
can scale both obviously and make huge businesses with both, but there's just different challenges with each business. And the service model I think has lower overhead. So I mean, I'm in the service model myself. I'd love to be in the physical products, but it's just a completely different business and mindset. But that's interesting. I can't. You never mentioned that before. I really like that. You told us how you got your first client. Right now, how would you recommend someone go about getting their first client? Because it's been 6 years. How would people do it now?
Things changed a lot, honestly. There aren't many ways you can get clients. If you read the book from Alex Hormozy, 100 million leads, like everything is in there, right? You can
You want to do it
just
right now?
go out
Not
there and sell
sponsored.
yourself, or yeah, man. Love it. So, you don't have many ways to get clients, actually. You just have to let people know. At the end of the day, it's just that. Back then, I was doing like Facebook groups and communities. Then I started selling on Upwork. Right. Then you had the cold email wave. Right now, I still believe if you're getting started, the best way to get clients is if you want to do it fast, get the first client like in a couple of weeks, cold email, cold DMs. It works extremely well. And we're still using it today in our company. The second best way, which is what I did to scale my freelancing business, is creating a personal brand. So you just create content, especially if you're not good at sales, you create a personal brand and people start asking you for your help. You position yourself as the authority, but it takes time. It's not something you can do in 2 weeks, maybe in 1 year. So
Took me a long
it
time.
depends on your situation.
Yeah, it took me a long time to do the personal brand
Yeah.
stuff, but it does work. And once you get it built up, obviously, it's something I think the personal brand should be going or the personal brand, business brand, whatever, the business marketing should be going organic in conjunction with whatever other strategy you're doing. It doesn't hurt. And it just gives you proof. So when people see your cold email, they can look you up and say, "Oh, this guy's been doing this for a while and he's good at it." So it obviously helps, right?
100%, especially now, which is more saturated as a channel, and with the ads, it's the same. They check out your IG page when you advertise, and they see you're legit. You have case studies, and they will click your ads more
Well, I've
often.
seen
So I agree with you.
in YouTube, I've seen the content across the board just get better. People putting out better content. Everyone's putting out better content. There's a lot more content. There's just a lot of stuff you're competing against now compared to like 3 years ago. But despite that, there's still an opportunity to grow because there's still people looking for this stuff. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really change. Just cold outreach, contact people, just hustle, boots on the ground, find some clients, and you can get started pretty quickly.
James, I think the people who are trying to get started underestimate the volume you have to make in order to get things work. It's not like I send 10 cold emails and I will get a client. Probably you
You
have to
had
send a
60.
thousand at the beginning because
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing. So you just have to do a lot of reps, and you will discover what works and what doesn't, and then you can optimize. At the beginning is just like brutal volume and just keep going even though you think you're a failure. You have all of these mental limiting beliefs, and you just have to keep going. That's the hardest part at the beginning.
Well, tell me a little bit about the your evolution then. So you started, you got these two clients. Did you have times when you like when you were about to give up, or or were you motivated and driven? Because obviously now you're doing more specialized service, more technical service, and it's not just like one-off things. It's like a monthly package kind of service. So it's more complicated. But tell me a little bit about from 2016 to like 2022. Like bring us along the way and tell us about some failures you've had. So like where did you get stuck along the way? Because we never talked about that before.
Yeah, sure. Everywhere, basically. I made all the mistakes I could I could make in my career. So I started selling custom projects, which is the worst thing you can do if you want to scale a business. So I was selling whatever people asked me for. I mean, I niched down on Instagram, but still I was doing a lot of different stuff. I didn't know how to delegate, so I was doing everything by myself. I was basically burning out. I remember thinking, wow, I left my 9 to 5 job because I didn't want to work 8 hours, and now I'm working 16. It sucks, because I didn't see a way out. So um, and I lost everything multiple times in terms of clients. Like, I don't know, I had 7 clients. I remember COVID hit, and I lost all of the clients overnight. I woke up with 7 messages saying, Dom, we need to interrupt. I'm sorry, you're great, but I don't know what's gonna happen to my business. I went through a lot of this. I just never gave myself a B plan. So I was just like, okay, I need to start from scratch. It's not a big deal. I don't have another option. Like, either I do this or I'm not gonna get back to the supermarket. So I think that one of the mistakes was selling custom packages, finding the wrong business partner. I remember I was partnering with another guy who was exactly the same person as I am. So he wasn't more specialized than me on the technical stuff. He wasn't that worse than me in terms of sales. We were just a duplicate of each other. So we were not complementing each other, and it didn't work out as a partnership. I guess selling stuff that people didn't want at the beginning, because I kept selling maybe Instagram growths when at a certain point people wanted to, get appointments or getting sales out of the accounts, and adjusting the messaging, adjusting what you do around the market. I think the mistake I've done was trying to force the market and let them like what I was offering, when I should pivot and adjust, like related to what the market wants.
What's a custom job that you were doing? Like what is a custom job in this like context?
I started doing influencer marketing just because I liked e-commerce brands. I wanted to work with them, and I was like, okay, offer Instagram, and they were like, I don't give a fuck. I don't need Instagram. I need maybe influencers. And I was like, okay, I'll do influencer marketing. And I was good, because when I start doing something, I'm good. But just it was so stressing. And I remember accepting a job on Upwork where they can leave you reviews. And I was so stressed out. It was summer. I was working even on my vacation. And dealing with these influencers, fake influencers, they didn't reply you, all of this kind of stuff just to run a campaign. I think this was, yeah, that was the lowest period of my freelancing career. I was like, I don't want to do anything like that anymore. I need to find a way to, like, how people are making way more money than me, working way less than me. Am I stupid? And then comes out they had systems, they had a better product market fit, and they could delegate. So
Oh, there you go.
uh,
There's the
yeah,
secret there.
custom work was doing whatever clients wanted.
So the
Yeah.
having you have to start off with doing custom work to see what you like to do and see what the market likes, right? You have to start doing whatever you can get. You do work, you say, oh, I like this, I don't like doing this. Maybe you could have loved and really clicked doing influencer marketing, but obviously you like hated it. So, um, and then you said you focused on growth, but then now what you're doing is like getting more calls, getting more schedules, tracking it, and getting more appointments, and that's kind of what you're focused on now, which is like tangible results, which makes sense. I want to ask you a little bit about your sales process because I think you're really good at sales. When we started working together on stuff, it's funny because originally you were a client of mine and you started working with me, you and your business partner, and then you guys started cold prospecting me because someone else was managing it, and then I didn't realize it was you either. And I was like, oh, cool emails, let's talk, whatever. And I was busy. I wasn't dismissing it. I was responding, but I wasn't like a really hot lead. And eventually we got on the phone and realized that we already were working together. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give this guy some attention because I like want to, he's a client. I'm not going to just hang him out there. So we get a call, and then your sales process was so great. You have a great presentation, really succinct, really organized, attractive stuff. So tell me, how did that come about? Like you don't become a great salesperson, have great sales and marketing products overnight. How did that? Tell me about the evolution of your sales process and your sales skills and how you've put that together.
Well, I believe that no, it doesn't happen overnight. You have to put in the reps, and especially when it comes to sales, you really have to experiment on the field. Like you can study all the sales scripts and processes and buy these guru academies, whatever. But at the end of the day, in order to be a good salesman, you have to be in a sales call and deal with the prospect on the other side. How did I become good at sales? I guess it's a lot of reps. I've been selling since I was even before being a freelancer. I told you I was doing football freestyle performances. I was 16 years old and I was selling myself. I was selling lessons. I was doing it with the parents of kids. Like, hey, I'll teach your class how to learn these cool tricks. And I was selling myself to the academies, to the football academies, and I was 16. So I started back then. Um, and then I just sold everything, like every kind of service. I sold my service, other agency services. I sold to broke prospects, to rich prospects, low ticket offers, high ticket offers. So it just becomes natural. If you ask me what's the biggest trick, is giving a fuck about the person on the other side because they can really perceive it. So I see a lot of salespeople, even like I get pitched a lot because we also buy a lot of services. Salespeople from these other big agencies or coaching programs, and they're just in for the commission. You can perceive that. The script is so scripted. They don't really care. Like it's them literally saying the same thing over and over again, which is okay. It works in volume. But I think the highest conversion rate is gonna be when you really care about the person on the other side. I have a lot of people I disqualify telling me, Dom, really appreciate your honesty. I will send you business. I will send you clients because you're the only one who turned me down or told me that I'm not good for maybe this is not what I should do. Instead, I should be paying this other guy. You're so honest. You're so transparent. I will send you business. And at the end of the day, you have this, snowball effect and you start getting business and you start closing clients just because they understand that you're there to help them. So
I agree.
that's the biggest hack. That's what I try to also tell my sales team.
Yeah, I agree, and I think. Well, I'm going to ask you about that next, and that's for me. But I have the same experience. I try and it's just like the most congruent with me is to be honest with people and like and really care that you want them to be successful and kind of like spread that energy out there so that it kind of comes back. And then if you're also the same about buying high ticket services, like I like to pay for high ticket stuff. I sell to high ticket stuff, so it all kind of like it's more congruent with what you're putting out there. So I think that's cool, and I think it makes a lot of sense. That's a really good advice. So care and be genuine. That's great advice there. It seems like it's obvious, but for sales, I think, yeah, you're right. Ask the right questions, really listen, and really try and solve a problem for someone. So even if if you have the solution, then it's going to be easier to close them. And if you don't have the solution, they're going to appreciate you, think about you, refer you, and maybe come back later. So tell me a little bit about your sales team. How do you train salespeople and get them to do like sell your products for you? Because that's for me right now, because I'm bringing on new salespeople too.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's not easy. It's a challenge. I'm going through that challenge, honestly, because I'm also in the process of building a sales team. Um, so I can tell you about the results in a few months. But I guess first of all, you have to make sure you have a productized sales process, right? You have to know what happens at any stage, and you have to have a predictable sales process. What really helped in my company was creating what I call a sales playbook, where I basically give them all the information about, first of all, who we are, who do we sell to, what do we sell, why people buy us instead of the competitor, and then all the sort of, approaches to sales. Like how do we sell? It's not about aggressive pitches, but it's more about I'm the doctor, right? Tell me what problem do you have, and I will give you the solution. It could be us, it could be someone else, it could be keep doing what you're doing. I don't know. Just tell me about you. And as you said before, I guess our secret is we have a great discovery process. The sale is in the intro call, right? When you ask the questions to the prospect, because a lot of salespeople are not great listener. They are great at pitching, turning around objections, but if the person on the other side feels that you didn't hit the point, and this happens to me every time, they pitch me and I didn't even tell them what's the problem. So how can I believe you can solve my problem?
Hmm.
Instead, you just listen, and then you state it back. Like, if I heard you right, you're telling me this. Is that correct? Yes, cool. And you write it down. And then if the solution matches the problems they have, it's just natural. Like, okay, you told me you have this problem, and I have this solution. Does it make sense? Yes. And so, okay, cool. Let's do business together. In terms of sales team, I guess a lot of work is on the front end. We really not struggle, but it's a lot of hard work finding the right people. Especially now, there is this bubble where everyone is teaching everyone to and their mothers to become appointment setters and closers, remote closers. There is this bubble where people have fake expectations about sales jobs. So it's pretty hard to find reliable people, hungry people who are going to, really do the extra mile. But it comes to the company culture as well and what you can give them in exchange for their effort. So we're working on that.
Cool. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes, and we're obviously working together. We'll be in contact about that stuff. I want to pivot into something a little different. So you told me about the journey and how you basically lost all your clients at the beginning of COVID. Then you found your new business partner. So tell me about like that transition and what you would recommend in looking for in a business partner, because I think a lot of people start, they're like, oh, I'm going to partner with this guy, we're going to do this. And I've made the mistake before. I partnered with people and I've worked with people on different things, and it wasn't a good fit for different reasons. Tell me how you identify a good partner and how you make it work going forward, because it really isn't easy.
What I made the mistakes as well, right? That's why I know what works and what doesn't. So when you look for a business partner, first of all, you want to make sure that is something that is going to provide um, a multiplier in terms of results. It's not just because you're anxious about the delivery and you want someone to split the anxiety with. This was me with our first partnership.
Yeah, me
I was
too.
just anxious about the delivery, and I was like, I can stand this alone. Hey man, do you want to share the burden with me? Cool, let's do business together. But it doesn't work, right? So you want to make sure you're good, you're extremely good at something, and the other person is not, but the other person is complimenting you on something else where maybe it's your weak point. For example, in my case, I have a business partner. His name is Ivan, and I'm good at sales. I like talking to people. I like doing this stuff, like jumping on calls, interviews, and creating connections in general. It's natural to me. I really love it, but I suck at operations. It really brings me, anxiety, and checking Slack is a nightmare for me. I don't reply on Slack so fast just because I prefer doing other stuff, talking to people in real life, jumping on calls. On the other end, my business partner hates sales. He doesn't like talking to strangers. He just want to put his headphones on and work on the back end of stuff, improving the products, building processes, SOPs, etc. So I was like, cool. So I like to sell. I like selling I'm good at it, but I suck at operations. You're good at operations. You don't like to, jump on sales calls and similar stuff. Why don't we partner up? It could be a good one. And it worked because, again, I do my stuff and he trusts me. And in the back end, he's the boss. I just trust him. And I'm not, of course, we have exchange of informations and feedback, but I trust him to do a great job and vice versa. And it just works. We don't have responsibilities overlapping in the company. So that's extremely important. And another advice is never partner up with someone who, I mean, don't partner up with them just because they are your friend, your girlfriend, boyfriend, parents, family, whatever. Um, just try to. I'm not saying it's wrong. Just keep your emotions
It's
aside.
hard.
Like
It's hard. Yeah.
it is. But just make the best decision for your business, and then whatever you have on top of that, whatever is being friends, family, love, whatever, it's a bonus, but don't let it dictate your partnerships in business because
Don't.
then business something
The
else,
only time
right?
I've seen that work is when the partners have what you talked about before, defined roles, and they're completely separate. Because if you're both working together on sales and you're both working together on delivery, you're gonna butt heads. But if one person does all delivery, one person does all sales, and you keep it your own departments, that you can make it work. But if there's any overlap, working with a family member or a good friend is really difficult. And the only time there would be overlap is if you have a really big business, and most businesses don't start out big. Like if let's say you had 80 clients, then you could have two salespeople and you could hire more creative people and you could figure it out and manage it. But starting out, you need to have it really separate. We haven't talked much
Yep.
about the actual like work you're doing and about the trends and stuff, but how do you see social media going? Like, why do you like shorts so much? And tell me a little, go on a little mini rant about like the future of social media, where you think entrepreneurs and service providers and businesses should be focused, whether it's e-commerce service and like your thoughts on shorts versus longs and that kind of stuff. Just go on a mini rant for me for there if you because I know you can.
Yeah, sure. That's a great question. So, well, it's pretty hard to predict future, and honestly, um, I don't want to do it just because I don't predict future. I can just look at what happened in the past, and the repetitive cycles of platforms like Facebook and then Instagram and then TikTok, and trying to take advantage from those situations. So, the way I see content and in general being on social media is like the new uh, oil, right? Attention is the new oil. If you listen to Gary Vee, he talks about this since years. If you can build an audience, you're building a life saving. You're basically building leverage around your business because no matter what happens, if you have to pivot, if they ban your business manager, whatever, you have an audience, a group of people who are not just in your newsletter, social media accounts, whatever, but who trust you. If tomorrow you lose everything, you just knock at their door and they will open and they will, give their email again because they trust you. You have a relationship with them. So I see as being on social media as a way to diversify your risk as an entrepreneur. I see it extremely risky to just bet on one platform. You just grow on Facebook ads, or you have an insane cold email machine, but then, some more of Google, for example, it happened in 2024, there is a new update and you may lose everything. Or like it happened with iOS 14, right? Facebook updates the policy, Apple updates stuff, and you're fucked. So I see building an audience as an advantage, and also many people in your niche, maybe your competitors, are not gonna do it because they're scared. They are going to think about what other people are thinking about them, and they have all of these limiting beliefs, and you can really take advantage of that and build a moat around your business. Um, so in terms of what type of content you should make, it really depends on your audience. I'm a huge fan of being everywhere if you can. Otherwise, just be on one platform, but be good. Like just don't post mediocre content everywhere. Long form versus short form. It's not that I like short. It's more business dynamics. So like it's better for us to focus on verticals in terms of services. So either shorts or long form, and again, not doing custom stuff, but at the end of the day, I think they complement each other because the short form is the top of the funnel. It's going to attract people because people are just scrolling on IG. They don't care about you. They find one of your videos and they're like, oh, this guy is interesting. Maybe they visit your profile. but then you can retarget them. You can create another piece of content. You can create more videos, and you can pull them into your long form content, which is more a nurturing machine, where you really show your authority and trustworthiness and credibility. And basically, you spend more time with them. And at the end of the day, especially in the B2B sales, you have to let people spend a certain amount of hours with you before they're ready to buy. I think it was between 10 minutes and 8 hours. This is the sweet spot. They have to be with you before the sales.
Yeah.
And, if they watch 3 YouTube videos and a few shorts, you're done. Like, they have a relationship with you. When you jump on a sales call, it's extremely easier. And another thing is that a lot of gurus are like, oh, you should be making content in 2024. That's the final strategy, or, you should be doing ads. I think you should be doing everything. Like, we do ads, we do cold email, we do content, we do referral program, we do everything, because it's a flywheel. I run ads. These ads bring more people to content. Content nurtures more people. When I send cold email, people recognize me, and then I can remarket people with ads. When I ask for a referral, it's like just a snowball effect. So you should be doing ads, and then you should be doing content, and you should be doing cold email.
At
And
least
if you tell me it's
retargeting.
hard,
At least
the
retargeting
business is
ads.
hard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 100%. We're doing everything for ourselves. So, yeah, I hope I answered your question.
No, you answered my question. I asked you to go on a mini rant. I agree with all the stuff you're saying, and I think it's content strategy. It's just obvious, like for all the reasons you said. And it's cool when I get on calls with people like, oh yeah, it's cool to talk to you. I just watched like 80 of your videos. I'm like, oh cool. So you not only are you like excited to talk to me, but you have like context. You know how I speak. You know the kind of stuff I say, and you've gotten information from me. So it's not, I don't have to like really introduce myself. We can just get into it. And that's why I can keep my calls at 30 minutes and answer all the questions and have time for 5 minutes of small talk, because I love small talk. You've started working with me and we opened a company for you. Tell me a little bit about how working with me and having that company has helped your business and how you plan to use it in the future.
Yeah, 100%. So, as you mentioned, we were your clients before even cold emailing you. So, we have decided to work with you just because we needed an expert taking care of the whole process from the beginning till the end. Something that I really believe in is do what you're good at and delegate the rest. And I'm definitely not good at, this stuff like documents and whatever is legal. I'm not good at it. I mean, I'm not interested, so I don't improve on that. And I know I can make mistakes if I try to save money on that. So I just wanted to have someone who is the expert and can take care of the process down for you. I don't have to worry about, the process and the status of things. I can sleep well knowing that there are professionals taking care of my situation. And that's how I felt with you and your team. They had a super nice feedback. Like they kept me in the loop, so I knew the status of my requests, but without taking any of my time. They were managing everything for me, and you've been super kind also, because there were some delays with the documents, and your team was super available. It was nice, and I would say fast working with you. It didn't take any of my time, just the first call, and then I was like, okay, I need this, and you guys took care of the rest. So that's exactly what I was looking for, and I'm definitely happy.
Thanks a lot for the feedback. I appreciate that. And for anyone who's watching up to this point, if you want to work with Domenico and his team, it's oniclabs.com, right?
Yeah, ONIK, and then lab.com.
oniclab.com. I'll see if I can put it in the description. He does all my shorts. I think he's been great to work with. They send me every like 2 weeks. They send me like, here's 15 videos to make. Here's a hook. Here's a call to action. What can we do better? They do all the research. So I just get on my computer for like an hour and a half once a week or once every 2 weeks, and I just record a bunch of stuff. I send it to them, and then they do all of it, all the work. So that's why I'm working with them. They made it super easy for me as well, and I think the actual product is great. And then they give the advice and do it all for me. So if you're a professional, you have like something set up and you want to scale it and grow it, I definitely encourage you to reach out to them. If not, if you're just an entrepreneur and you want to and you're improving your sales process, I encourage you to reach out just to see how they handle calls and scripts and their sales team, and not just to overload their sales team. I don't have that big of a channel, but I would recommend it for someone who already has shorts done. Just schedule a call with them, give them a chance, because they have a really cool sales process. And I was like taking notes while he was selling me, because I'm selling stuff too. And so I encourage you just to reach out if you want to learn how to sell stuff better. Learn about their sales process. And that's it, man. Thanks for being here today. I appreciate
Thanks,
you
I
a lot.
appreciate it. I appreciate you for having me. Thanks everyone, and cheers.
Yeah, I'll see you later. Talk to you later. I'm gonna turn this baby off. Okay, thanks everyone. Like, subscribe. See you later.